Hello YouTube and good morning my dear friends. In today's episode, I will be driving my scooter from here in Colombo to the city of Kandy, which was formerly known as Mahanuwara or the Great City. The leisurely 120-kilometer ride will take me a bit more than 4 hours, traversing through several small and medium-sized towns, rice fields, densely forested mountains and wide open fields. I will try to avoid the main roads as much as possible and plan to traverse the towns of Kegalle, Welawiria, Miriswata, Yekala, Natambua, Woldenia, Warakapla, Awanhala, Nelandinia, Galagamoa, Kegalle, Malagoda, Mawanella, Kadugannawa, Pilamanthalawa and Kiribathkumbira, before finally arriving in the city of Kandy. It is a journey that will follow as much as possible the first ever highway road of Sri Lanka, the almost already historical Colombo to Kandy road, which is called the A1. And for anyone interested, it was the first modern highway to be built here in Sri Lanka during the 19th century, sometimes at the dawn of the Candian Kingdom. And during that period of time it was certainly not a road for the faint-hearted ones. Before the time of 1820 there was only a pathway from Kandy to Colombo, and public officials or everyone else who wanted or needed to travel from Kandy to Colombo or vice versa, had to use either horses or palanquins, which was a kind of a portable bed or couch and carried at each end on the shoulders of porters or by animals. During these times much of the Candian Kingdom's territory was located in the very mountainous and densely forested interior of the island, with mountain passes to the capital providing plenty of opportunities for the defenders to stage ambushes. Routes to the city of Kandy were kept secret, and spreading information concerning them could often result in death. Furthermore, many of the routes into the hill country became impassable during the annual monsoon, and malaria was a constant threat during these harsh times. Throughout their existence the Candian army used the land to their advantage by engaging in guerrilla warfare against the invading enemy forces. And their strategy of evacuating major urban centers when enemy forces drew near, and then recapture the city again by ambushing the invaders, was a tactic used with particular successful effects during the Candian Wars. During that time, one of the known routes started in Kotte and ended in Kanda Udarata, which was one of the many names used for Kandy during the formal times. The route passed through Hanwela, Ruwanwela, Hatimula, Ganathena, Balana and was a good 21 km longer than the road of today. At that time it was the preferred route for kings and their armies, for the merchants, the diplomatic parties and even the pilgrims. Simply said, it was the road that served many people and many purposes. And these meant that during those times there was only this one road, which was longer and much more difficult to traverse. I have been told that the route was by purpose left in a treacherous condition so that no enemy could march up to Kandy in a hurry. This was giving the king plenty of time in an emergency to abandon the city and go into hiding in the jungle-covered mountains which was surrounding the city of Kandy. Of course he also had the obligation to protect and always take with him the Dantha Dathu, which is the relic of the Buddha's tooth, and then come back consolidated and attack the enemy in full strength. It is also said that the city of Kandy itself was only a pawn in the king's strategy. And when he was under a threat, he could evacuate the city in a thoroughly orderly fashion and then set it on fire so that it would offer no benefits to the enemy, which he supposedly did on several occasions. The king was eventually deposed by the British government under the terms of the Candian Convention in the year of 1815. And therefore ending over 2,300 years of domination by the Sinhalese crown on the island. Sri Lanka was then incorporated into the British Empire, and King Sri Vikrama Rajasinya was succeeded by George III as the new monarch of British Ceylon. As a result, the British government then decided that it was about time to build a proper cart road to Kandy, so that the abundant commercial crops such as coffee and tea could be easily transported back to the port city of Colombo. Construction of the road began in the year of 1820 and was under the guidance of the British governor Sir Wilmot Horton, who was the governor to Ceylon during this time. The entire construction of the road was initially overseen by Captain Francis William Dawson, and he worked day and night to build this road in order to finish it as fast as possible. However, as the Kandy Road construction neared to the town of Kadugannawa, Captain Dawson suddenly fell ill with a fever and he was taken to Colombo for treatment. But unfortunately, he died of the fever shortly after on March 28 in the year of 1829 in Colombo. And to commemorate his hard work, the Dawson Tower was erected on the highest point in the climb on the Kandy to Colombo Road at the Kadugannawa town entrance on the Kadugannawa Pass, which also served as the lookout point in the former Sinhala Kingdom. Due to Dawson's death, the work on the Colombo to Kandy Road was then transferred to the leadership of the young engineer Major Skinner, who described the project as a very difficult and highly adventurous experience. The road was then finally completed and opened in the year of 1832 by the British Crown, making way for a much easier access to the city of Kandy. Now it is becoming much clearer to me on why the survival of the Candian Kingdom from Western invasion was mainly prevented by geographical barriers and ancient travel rules that existed during that period of time, and why with the construction of the road to Kandy under the supervision of Dawson and Skinner established by the British administration in Candian provinces changed so much in the Sinhalese history, in the favor of the Brits. Because not only is the route now taken by all the higher officials of the Candian court and the embassies of the many different countries and making it now much easier to reach the Candian Kingdom, but it also marked a milestone of the British occupation in Sri Lanka, and that was perhaps the reason why this road is now known as the Great Road of Sri Lanka. The question in today's time that is now arising, almost 2 centuries after the initial opening of this road connecting Kandy with the city of Colombo, is this existing road to Kandy yet at another crossroad? I think probably not for now, because of the new heavy delayed Stage 3 of the Pathahara to Kandy Expressway link, which is still under a seemingly never-ending construction delay. And as of today, the work on the extension is ending somewhere around the town of Kadugannawa, which is a good 40 to 50 kilometers away from Kandy. And this will probably take a bit longer than the already very delayed opening date that is currently set for the year of 2025. Personally, I also do believe that the social and political economic as well as its historical linkages that is associated with the present Colombo to Kandy Road is a well-established part of the Sri Lankan day-to-day way of life, and that this is not easily taken away by a faceless highway cutting through land and culture nourished by centuries of human investments. And therefore the significance of this present Kandy Road, also known as the Sri Lanka Highway, number A1, is still gaining on increased popularity due to the ever-growing communities along its path. Anyway, I strongly suggest that you should drive this road and experience it, not only as a part of Sri Lanka's newer history but also to get a glimpse of its highly pulsating communities and landscapes before they are gone too. So enough of my talkings, let's now sit back and enjoy this magnificent road and its mesmerizing surroundings.
Welcome to Kegalle.
I am now passing the town of Kegalle, which is also known as one of the great cities that can be dated back to the Stone Age. During the time when it was under the rule of the Sinhala kings, it was divided into 3 parts and named as Sathra Karali, Thun Karali, and Patha Bunjalathgama. Some Sinhala kings have built monuments and temples showing many of the recovered Kegalle relics that can be traced back to the Candian period. In the newer times, the history of Kegalle also included the influence from the Portuguese, the Dutch, and the British, with some ruins that shows the influence they had on the architecture and even on the cultural aspects in this area.
I'm looking here again at an interesting weather pattern. Not sure if it will be dry until Kandy. These are like rain clouds here.
Here in the middle of the Mawanella town stands the oldest and still operational brick bridge of Sri Lanka. The bridge was built back in the year of 1833 over the Mahanuwara and is called the Mawanella Bridge. The bridge is constructed entirely from bricks and has a total of 4 arches, each of them is 15 meters in length.
Full.
Arriving at the Kadugannawa Pass where the British in the year of 1823 pierced the rock and created the famous tunnel. It is said that the tunnel have been created to fulfill an old Sinhalese prophecy that there is no way for foreigners to rule Kandy unless they pierce the mountains. However, this nice story seems to be disputed, as the Kadugannawa tunnel is claimed to have been constructed much earlier, before the construction of the Colombo to Kandy road by the Brits. So who really knows? Anyway, the tunnel is really unique and doesn't look like it was built by a European power.
These are real switchbacks. We are at the highest point now.
The town of Kadugannawa is situated at the boundaries of the Central and Sabaragamuwa provinces in Sri Lanka, and its Kadugannawa Pass lies along the Alagala mountain range and is surrounded by the Ambuluwa, the Knuckles and the Honthana mountain ranges on its eastern side. To the west is a precipice with vistas over the Kegalle valley of the river Mahanuwara with its prominent Inselberg, the Bible Rock, or also called the Bathalegala Rock, and the rock formation where the Devanagala Raja Maha Viharaya is built on. Also noteworthy is that Kadugannawa and the Kadugannawa Pass was one of the lookout points in the Kingdom of Kandy, and the Balana fort, which was the main fortress established to protect the Candian Kingdom from foreign powers, was also situated near to this town.
Look at this Saturday traffic. This is just insane. Interesting road to my guest house. looks a bit like Ronco di Askena. I would say like the end of the world.
And after this interesting and nice journey, I just arrived at the Primrose guest house here in Kandy, the guest house of choice for my next several days of stay. I hope you enjoyed this ride and its historical value as much as I did. As usual, thanks a lot for your like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, cheers, good night and see you in my next episode when I will explore the surroundings of this highly historical city of Kandy, here in the beautiful island of Sri Lanka.